Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crimson Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Tropp, alongside Ben Balian and two very special guests today. We have Coach Spautz and Brady Cassidy, members of our Bernards High School golf team, which had a pretty historic run this year. Spautz, you want to touch on that real quick?
Sure, yeah. This was a great year for the golf team. We ended up being Group 1 state champs, which was incredible. Last time I think we did that was 95, 96, and we got to the TOCs last year, and we came in second there, and this year we got the job done. It was pretty cool. I was happy for the kids. Played real good golf, especially down to the wire on how it kind of all transpired to get the victory by one shot.
Yeah, so last year you guys had just a loaded roster, whether it was Noah Oshab, who transferred out, Thomas DeMar, who was hurt for a good portion of this year, Brady, who was a freshman. How were you able to overcome those losses and play better golf this year?
Well, with Brady and DJ, we had the two freshmen, the kids, as I'd like to call them. You knew that they're only going to get better, right? So you knew that they were going to be playing all year, playing a bunch of tournaments and getting ready for the season. The loss of Ochab, he was first team All-State, which is very difficult to do, and it's a very, very good group of golfers in New Jersey. So to replace him, we were just hoping for somebody to kind of step up. Season starts. Thomas is still out with the ACL injury. Really unknown if he was coming back or not. If you asked him, he was coming back, but needs a need to play golf. So he did everything he could to get back, and then we were really just trying to find a fourth that could fit in, and I kept rotating throughout the whole season, and ultimately we had to make a decision, on who was going to be the fourth guy for the TOCs, and we went with Daniel Sr., and it really could have been any of the other guys that were playing, whether it was Jack Morris, Nate Hamada, and sometimes, usually in golf, you don't have too much of a decision to make, but went with Daniel Sr. He played just well enough to get the victory, and he, I think he ended up shooting 86 there, but it made a big difference to get us. Like I said, we won by one, so it was an exciting match for sure.
Yeah, I bet.
And Brady, just 1 second. You knew you were stepping into a larger role entering this season. What was your mindset heading in to the year?
This year I kind of just wanted to fill in for Noah and almost be the leader of the team, even though I'm one of the younger ones. Other than that, kind of just keep the vibes high and, keep the morale up.
Yeah, and this is just your sophomore year, and you're the number one on this team, right? Going into all the tournaments, you're, the number one seed for Bernards, going in all those tough matches. What's the limit from here? What's the goal for next season to keep building up on this?
Next season I kind of just want to go back-to-back at states. Obviously, we want to win sectionals next year too. But I think kind of keep it like this year, but just kind of build on what we have. It would be great.
And what he's not saying is he medaled in I think every tournament that we played this year. So as consistent as could possibly be. And if you ask him, how'd you shoot? I know exactly how he shot. I can see it on the app. But you ask him, all right, it was all right. He's at 74, 74, 74, just as consistent as can be, and going up against, again, good seniors in especially in our county and our conference. We have really good golf, and just as consistent as he was the key, I think, to the ultimate success of the team this whole season. I think next year with him, DJ, and some of these juniors that are now seniors, placing in the county and the Skylands is definitely achievable for those guys.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of golfers with very little varsity experience entering the year, whether it is that group of juniors you talked about that was kind of cycling into the varsity rotation, or even some of the younger guys who were just freshmen last year and stepping into their second year. What kind of growth have you seen from your younger players throughout this season?
We knew going in, that they were good golfers to start, and a big key was them getting right off the bat as freshmen and playing in every single match, every single tournament. was key for those guys because you need to have like a good core, and then you can kind of try and fill in some pieces. And even a couple years ago, we had brothers, Hayden and Cutter, and they had the kind of the same boat. They came in as freshmen and played every match, and by the time they were seniors, had a ton of experience. But the good thing with golf is a lot of these kids have been playing, just not on the team. They go out and you look at a couple of the kids on the team. There's always videos of them out there playing all over the place, and they just love it. So they're getting extra practice, and even if they're not in a match, they're still out playing. And yeah, everybody wants to be in the match and be there for the TOCs, but the fact that they're all kind of internally battling with each other puts us a step ahead.
And Spautz, over the last few years, there have been a lot of great golfers at Bernards High School, but they haven't quite been able to reach the level of success that happened this year. And this is a question for Brady as well. What is it about this team that you think that was able to get over that hump and finally win the Group 1 state championship?
I think last year being there was key. It's a different kind of vibe when you get down to the sectionals. We got to travel pretty far down to Cream Ridge. It's not the most of beautiful courses. It creates its own challenges that some of the other spots that we play at that you don't really kind of see in course conditions. But again, everybody's playing the same course, so it's the same for everybody. But going down there, qualifying for the TOCs, another week, another 18 holes kind of back to back, and really understanding. We've had a couple matches in the past where we've lost by a stroke, or we got, instead of third, we got fourth, all by a stroke, and understanding how important every stroke does matter, and to sit there and kind of have that mindset. At least that's what it seemed like for me. Is no matter what, they're going to grind it out and figure out a way to put up a, maybe it's not the lowest score you ever shot, but you didn't just stop playing after the 18 holes.
I think going into TOC and all that, we knew what we had to do. And most of the matches were oh, we're going to have fun, whatever. But no, TOC was a lot more serious than this year than last year. And I think, losing to Madison by only a couple last year, I think it was, we wanted that win, especially for Thomas because he's a senior and he's leaving. We really wanted to get that win, and I think that's kind of what drove us and what was kind of the main factor of our success there.
And as you guys know, the Madison's kind of had the school's number, right?
That's true.
So there was a little bit of extra, I think, mindset that they had to, we can try and take them out. And, I think softball had beaten them, and then we took them out, and we just had lacrosse take them out. So I think maybe we started something to, take back what's ours.
Brady, this one's more for you. How do you handle the pressure of being the higher seeded golfer as far as Bernards goes in these bigger matches?
Honestly, I don't really think about it too much. I always think I go out there and I just play how I know I can, and I don't really think about my seed that much. Honestly, I think me, Thomas, DJ, we're all pretty even, so that spot can fluctuate. So I just know what I have to do, and I go out and do it.
All right, well, we're going to move on to, I think, the more fun part of the podcast. We like doing this whenever we bring on guests for interviews. We call it the rapid fire section. Trademark Jack Martin came up with this one. We can't take credit for it. So we're just going to ask you a series of questions, and both of you answer first thing that comes to your mind when you do it. Ben, why don't you kick us off?
All right, what's your favorite food?
Chick-fil-A.
Pizza.
Favorite hobby?
Golf.
Golf, yeah.
Favorite thing to do outside of school?
Golf.
You could have one superpower, what would it be?
No three putts.
I think time travel for sure.
Would you rather play a par 5, a par 4, or a par 3?
Par 5.
Yeah, par 5.
Favorite musical artist? This is always a tough one.
I would say I like Zach Bryan. I'd put him at the top of my list right now.
Yeah, I like Mac DeMarco.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
Favorite subject?
PE.
Probably history.
Favorite movie/TV show?
TV show probably have to be The Office. Movie, I like The Dark Knight. I think that might be one of my favorites.
Series, there's an F1 show on Netflix. I'm liking that. And then movie, I got to go with the original Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Your dream course to play.
Dream course to play, Pine Valley, also played it.
Probably Augusta.
And then finally, if you could pick anyone, dead or alive, in all of history, who would you choose to play a round of golf with?
Tiger.
Yeah, I was going to say Tiger, too.
I'd put I think I'd put John Daly in there. I think that would be a fun go. And then since I never had the chance to do it, I don't even know if he was any good, but I'll put my dad in there.
I would say Kobe, too. That'd be another one. For sure.
That'd be pretty cool. Do you have an answer for that? I know you don't golf.
I mean, I always hear probably some kind of athlete. Like Steph Curry's really good at golf. I feel like he would have some interesting stuff to say. So maybe Curry. Obviously, I'm a big time Knicks fan. Jalen Brunson right now. Whoever, just some kind of athlete. What about you?
I'd probably go Jordan Spieth. He's always been my favorite guy. Growing up in Texas, when I got really into golf, he was from Texas. I fist bumped him a couple times. I have his signature on a hat. I was obsessed with him when he won that first Masters and that 2015 season he had. I just love him. He'll win again at some point. I have faith.
I hope he figures it out.
He will. But for now, that'll be all for this episode of the Crimson Podcast. Thank you so much, Mr. Spautz and Brady, for coming on. That's been Balian. I'm Andrew Tropp, and thank you so much for watching.